Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another show here, the Life School Masterclass Show. I'm so blessed to be back with you. Another amazing conversation. And I love today's conversation because there's so much to learn around our SEO within our marketing, within our branding, within our websites, all the good things that we have going on within our companies. Without further ado, I'd like to say hi to you. I'm your host, Alona Lapari, and I help companies scale their purpose and profits. And today I have Brandon Leibowitz, all the way from California, I believe, right, Brandon? Joining us virtually from California to New York. Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me on today.
My pleasure. So, Brandon, let's dive right into the topic for our high achieving entrepreneurs that would like to just grasp information that they believe obviously they can apply within their businesses. So, optimization of SEO, can we give like maybe a short description around what that is and why that's important so that we could dive into the conversation?
Definitely, yeah. SEO stands for search engine optimization, which means ranking websites on the different search engines, which primarily is Google. Google really runs the show. And when you search on Google, there's ads at the top. Those are all paid ads. Those websites are paying Google for each click to their website, which could be a couple cents per click, could be a couple dollars per click, it could be $100 for one click. The ads work as long as you're making more than you're putting in. There's no need to stop them. But what I focus on is organic, the SEO, which is right below the ads are the organic, the free listings. And there's 10 spots on that first page of Google. And we want to get your website ranked in those 10 spots. But it's not just websites that appear. If you search on Google, it's very dynamic and there's videos, there's images, there's maps, there's products. So we want to try to take up as much free real estate as possible without spending money on ads. That way we drive targeted traffic to your website of people searching for your product or service or whatever it may be. And if you rank organically, that's going to get them to trust you because Google says we trust you by ranking you, and it's going to get you that traffic to your website.
Yeah, well, thank you for explaining that, right? Because again, sometimes these terms are, I think obviously it's definitely a term that people are very aware of, especially seasoned entrepreneurs that might be listening to us today. But yeah, I think it's important to still kind of get that clarity around it. And most important, I think my next natural question for you, Brandon, would be around sort of repurposing a lot of the things that they're already doing, whether it's their content strategy or their websites or all their marketing efforts, whether it's online or offline. What are some of the things that we can do so that we know those are important pieces to be able to focus on to be able to optimize our SEO better?
There's lots of different things that need to be done for SEO, and it's not really one size fits all, but there's a couple things that Google looks at for every website, and that's really text. So the more text you have on every single page on your website, the easier it is for the search engines to read, understand, and know what that page is about because they can't really read images or videos or audio yet. They're getting better at it, but they still rely heavily on text. So anything with even like this, like a podcast, you would want to post it on your website or post it on wherever you're at, YouTube, and add text around it describing what the podcast episode's about. If you can transcribe it, throw that in there. If it's too long, timestamp it. But adding content everywhere, meaning text, that's going to get Google or any search engine, any platform to better read, understand, and really know what you're trying to target. But none of that really matters to the search engines because they just don't believe what keywords you put on your website because too many people have tricked the search engines over the years that putting keywords on your website is not good enough. You need to build trust up, and trust comes through by getting other websites to talk about you. It's called getting backlinks. And what is a backlink? A backlink really is a clickable link from another website that points to yours. So let's say, for example, you're reading an article on the NewYorkTimes.com. In there, it says Brandon Leibowitz. If you click on it and it goes to my website, I would be getting a backlink from the NewYorkTimes.com. So the more websites that link out to you, the more popular, the more trust Google gives you, and the higher they're going to rank you.
Mm. Oh, I love this correlation because it's similar with what we're doing here, right? It's great for you to have your own channel or your own social media audiences, but it's also great to go to other people's audiences for obviously maximum visibility. So it sounds very similar with the backlinks as well. How about around keywords? What are some of the things that we need to be aware around the keyword piece when we're optimizing our websites or our social media content or our social media channels?
With keywords, you want to research them, not just guess, because guessing is good, but it's not always going to get you the right keyword. And what we want to do is find high search volume keywords that have low competition. And there's tools that will let you do keyword research. It depends on what platform you're on. If you're doing it for Google for SEO, I would use a Google keyword planner. But if you're doing YouTube keyword research, it's going to be slightly different. And there's other tools out there that can help out with those platforms. But for Google, for SEO, there's a free tool, and that will let you see how many people search for your keyword every single month. Like, for example, one of my clients was a personal injury lawyer, and they were trying to figure out, do we want to rank for personal injury lawyer, singular, or personal injury lawyers, plural? And personal injury lawyer, I believe, got 10,000 searches a month, and personal injury lawyers, a plural version, got 50,000 searches every single month. So just by adding one letter, you're going to get 5 times more traffic. And that's where the keyword research comes into play, that you could guess at it, but you're not always going to guess right. And that could be potentially missing out on a lot of traffic. So doing the keyword research is always the first starting point with SEO, or just in general with digital marketing. You got to know your audience, know your keywords, that we could best target them with the right messaging and the right keywords and the right type of content that's going to resonate with them.
Yeah, well, definitely very important, right? So to know what we're doing with that. What about AI? How would you implement AI with SEO optimization as well?
So I was saying earlier, text is very, very important, and content, meaning text, is huge for Google, and AI can write content. So that's where you just have to make sure that it's accurate what you're putting out there. But Google said last year that we don't care who writes the content because we can't differentiate AI versus human content anymore, unfortunately. So as long as your content offers value, meaning it's accurate, if you just copy it from AI, it's not going to be accurate. There's AI hallucinations and it's not there yet. Maybe in like 5 years, you can copy it verbatim, but right now you need to go in and edit it. So I use it as like a starting point to help out with like topics. If I'm stuck on titles of like blog posts and what to write about, you could say, hey, can you give me a list of 20 blog post topics that are semantically related to this keyword, and make it under this amount of characters, and try to include the keyword at the beginning. So putting all these little SEO tricks in there to just maximize the reach and the exposure and visibility of that article, because there's little things that could help out. Just like creating the content is great, but you have to sprinkle those keywords in there, know where to put those keywords, know how to section it off into different like headers and different sections on the blog post and content that you're putting out there. But AI could do a lot. It could even code. It could even like build apps and websites. So schema is also kind of a big thing. Schema.org is a programming language that the search engines created. And I don't know coding. I know like basic HTML, but you don't need to really know coding nowadays with all the platforms out there like WordPress and Shopify. They're really user friendly. But if you want to add and enhance your website, you could create schema code and AI will write that code for you. It's very helpful in stuff like that, where writing that code would take hours, but with AI, it takes a few seconds. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the positive side of AI implementation as well. That's very interesting. So when it comes to like macro level, I know obviously Google optimizes and ranks websites, and that's that is something that most of us know. But what about the rest of the pieces of content that we put out there online, whether it's again our content on social media or when we go podcast somewhere else or all these other activities, so to speak, online activities? Like, how does that all translate into what Google uses to optimize our SEO beyond our website?
Yeah, Google doesn't look too much at social media other than how much traffic you're getting from social, but they don't see how many followers or how often you're posting. I mean, they might see how many followers you have, but they don't see how often you're posting and things like that. So having a presence on social is great. Having a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok, all those are great, but it's not going to move the needle because Google wants to see that you're on sites that are related to what you're doing. If you're just on a bunch of social media sites, Google is just going to think you're a social media company or influencer or blogger. But if you're a restaurant, you need to be on sites related to restaurants. So that means you need to find, if you're being a guest on podcasts, finding podcasts about food. It could be about business and entrepreneurship if you own that restaurant, but really you need stuff related to what you're doing. So more towards the food, dining, entertainment, recipes, cooking, things like that. If it's all off topic, it's going to throw Google off. So when you're working on getting yourself out on all these third-party sites, just be aware that social media isn't going to really move the needle. Google's pretty much blocked from social. Those backlinks don't count. You need to be on niche-related websites. So finding small blogs, medium-sized websites, and trying to build relationships with them to see if you can write for them, blog for them, send out PR. If you're selling e-commerce, give out products as samples, being a guest on podcasts. There's lots of different ways to get yourself out there on third-party sites, but it's all about just trying to get creative and thinking outside the box of how can I get another website to link out to me, which is not easy to do.
Oh, interesting. So again, niching there also is applicable for, we talk about that so much in business, niching down and knowing your audience is applicable with backlinks as well. And what about maybe top three things that people make mistakes around their SEO optimization, or how is it that they maybe can improve their digital marketing efforts to better optimize their SEO? Is there like maybe top three things that you've seen in your experience that you're like, I wish people knew this? These are the top three things that will improve their efforts when it comes to digital marketing.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but backlinks are number one, where people either don't know what backlinks are and have never heard of them and never built them. And if you're not building backlinks, it's pretty much impossible to rank on Google. Their whole algorithm is based off backlinks. But it's changed a lot over the years where it's not the number of backlinks, it's the number of quality backlinks that you get. And to Google, a quality backlink means it comes from a site that's related to what you're doing. That's really, really important. So either people don't know about backlinks, or people know about them and have gone to like sites like Fiverr and bought a gig for $10 to get 1,000 backlinks. These are all coming from low quality sites that are actually going to do more harm than good. So that's where you have to be careful with backlinks. Is you have to make sure that they really come from sites that are related to what you're doing and have some authority. If you're just getting them from other random websites, it's not going to move the needle. So that's really the biggest thing. And then, like I was mentioning earlier, content is so very important. A lot of people build websites, but they don't add text to their pages. And you need to add a couple hundred words of text to every single page. It's really, really important. If you're not adding text to every single page, it is really tough for the search engines to really understand that page. They're getting much better at it, but the easier it is you make it for the search engines, the more they're going to reward you with traffic. And I think the biggest thing, though, or one of the other biggest things, is just not creating more pages. A lot of people will just make a website and make a one-page website. It looks nice aesthetically, but for SEO, Google, the more pages you have, the more keywords you could target. Google only will really rank you for about 3 to 5 words per page. After that, it kind of loses relevancy. So the more pages you have, the more keywords you could target. So not just like if you're a plumber, you could say, all right, I offer plumbing services in Brooklyn and have a page about that. But it's a lot better if you have a page about all the different types of plumbing services, like commercial, residential, toilets, like leaky faucets, showers. So creating a page for all that, if someone searches for how to fix a leaky shower and you have a page dedicated to that, you become really relevant to Google, and they're going to reward you by ranking you higher.
Well, thank you so much for describing this, because you're explaining it so simply. And for the longest time, I think even for me, this stuff was so confusing. So I think, yeah, now it makes a lot of sense because it's pretty straightforward. And when you talk about the backlink thing, the piece as well, I think a lot of people can relate it to also the way that they're actually, understand marketing about, being in other people's audiences, but also focusing on the quality piece as well, not just quantity of being, everywhere and having other websites backlink you. It sounds like lots of work with the backlinking thing. What does that process look like? I mean, can someone do that on their own, or they would need an expert like yourself to do that piece?
Yeah, that is where I probably spend like 80% of my time is building backlinks for myself and my clients. And you can do it yourself. It just does take a lot of time. It's very tedious and just takes a lot of time to find these good websites, build relationships with them, get them to want to let you have a backlink by offering something free, which is either your time to be on a podcast show or writing a blog post or giving away a product as a sample, because it is not easy to get a backlink. But that is what Google's whole algorithm is based off, is backlinks. So you need to make Google happy. And the way to get Google happy is by showing them that other websites are talking about you. It's kind of like these websites are voting for you, saying we trust you, we think you're a legitimate, good quality business. And you just got to be patient with it. It does take time. So if you could get a couple backlinks every single month, that's a huge win. You don't need to build 100 all at once, but if you could build like 1 or 2 or 3 every single month, that's a huge win. And then over time, you're just going to see your traffic increasing, and just be patient with it, because SEO does take time. It's not immediate because of those backlinks and the trust part. Google just doesn't trust a website, and it takes a lot of time, especially nowadays, to get Google to trust a website.
Yeah, and is there like a average amount of time after you've been consistently working with your clients on the backlink piece that you kind of see, like what are some of the results that you've seen with them in the improvement of, I guess, their ranking?
It really varies depending on the competition. So the more competitive your keywords are, the more backlinks we're going to have to build and the longer it's going to take. So if you're a restaurant in Los Angeles, there's a lot of restaurants. There's only 10 spots on Google. So you're fighting for those spots. Whereas if you're a restaurant in some small town where there's only 5 other restaurants, you don't have to do too much to maintain those rankings.
Mhm.
But in general, like when I work with clients, if they have a lot of backlinks already, then they'll move up very fast. Like someone I worked with in the past, they had a lot of backlinks. It's just Google couldn't read their website. Their website was like 20 years old. They've been around for a long time. They built up a lot of trust. Google just didn't know what keywords they were targeting. So by going in and cleaning up all the coding on the website, pretty much shot them up to that first page of Google for almost all their keywords in like a month and a half, which doesn't usually happen like that. That's a rarity where it's an old established business. But when I work with newer websites or like brand new startups, then it takes about 6 months average, if not more, depending on the competition. It just really comes down to that competition. The more competitive it is, the more time it takes, unfortunately. So you just gotta be aware. And that's where finding that niche and finding something unique that differentiates yourself is gonna help speed things up. That way you're not just getting dominated by these big corporate websites. Like if you're a restaurant, Yelp is ranking, Eater, Open Table, there's all these big websites that are ranking. So just trying to rank for like Italian food near me might not be the best keyword. You could find other variations or some of the dishes that you make and specialize in, or some other, like maybe a live entertainment, trying to focus on that as well.
Yeah, I love it. This is so clear. Thank you so much for describing that piece, because it sounds like another social media for a lot of us that are on social media, right? Understanding the algorithm and where you are, and kind of how to be able to be successful with that piece as well, because that's kind of what it is at the end of the day. And, Google also prioritizes its own thing. So understanding and making an educated decision around bringing someone like you that is able to help them, and then also have the right expectation going in, because sometimes I feel like lack of awareness, might drive people to want very fast results. I think that happens with anything. So the education piece is very, very important. Brandon, what about YouTube SEO? Is there any advice or anything that you could share with us around that? We have tons of people here, but obviously YouTube is a great channel to be able to do a lot of the long form content. Is there any advice around SEO that they can improve their content on there?
I would just make sure when you upload videos to YouTube, name the file name something descriptive. Same with any images that you do on your website, or audio or podcast or anything that you upload to the internet. Don't just name it image001.jpg. Name it something descriptive that describes what that image or video or audio is. That's really, really important. And then like the title is really important on YouTube. Try to put keywords in there, adding text or describing that video. So going in the description and adding text that describes it is also very, very helpful. If you can transcribe it, if it's like a 5-minute video, transcribe it. If it's a 30-minute video, maybe timestamp it, summarize it, because nobody wants to read a 30-minute transcript. That's just too long. But Google needs that, or Google owns YouTube. So Google kind of has a similar algorithm where they're just really feeding off that text. They're getting much better at hearing and listening, but they're still not there. Like if you just upload a video and have it do the closed captions for you automatically, it's not going to be perfect. So that's where if you could just feed them and spoon feed them as much information as possible, that's going to help them really better understand what that video is and rank you higher on YouTube.
Mm. Is that why a lot of us are getting? Well, I've gotten a lot of these YouTube SEO messages from people saying, "Hey, let me help you optimize your YouTube channel's SEO." Kind of, I guess, is that what they're trying to say? That there could be opportunities in the title, in the description, and in the keyword piece. Is that what it is?
Most likely, or they just see that you don't have enough subscribers that they're going to reach out to someone and say, hey, if you don't have 1,000 or 5,000, we're going to reach out to you and try to target you, saying, because they can't really see the file name that you upload, which is a really big piece of it. They could just see your title, description, and that's really all they're able to see from YouTube. So they're not really able to dive into it too much. Like with SEO, I could see all your coding and see exactly what keywords, where you're putting them. But with YouTube, you're kind of limited. But it doesn't matter if you're searching on YouTube or if you're searching on Amazon, there's an algorithm to rank for that. So anywhere where you could search, Yelp, all those websites have algorithms, and there's ways to try to optimize your listing, your website, your product, whatever it is, to make sure it ranks higher on those platforms.
All right, well, Brandon, I want to thank you for all the amazing information you shared with us, making this so simple for tons of people that might not, be tech savvy. And there's always something to learn around, especially SEO. It's definitely a big thing out there. Brandon, I would love to ask you. I usually ask my guests around their purpose or kind of some of the most meaningful moments that led you to this work. How did you get into this work?
Just kind of stumbled upon it after I graduated from college and got my degree in business marketing in 2007. After I graduated, one of the first jobs I got offered was doing SEO and digital marketing, which I had no idea what that was. They said, don't worry, we're learning it as well, which I thought was kind of interesting. And they're like, we're going to take you to classes and workshops and seminars and learn with you, and decided to give it a shot. And after working there for a few months, just kind of thought this is probably the future. Everyone's probably going to have a website, and this digital thing is probably not going to slow down anytime soon, and just stuck with it and kept going ever since.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. You got that skill. So it's definitely an important skill to today's digital world, which just, yeah, keeps evolving every day for sure. Brandon, thank you so much for a beautiful conversation. We've actually reached the end of this episode. I would like for you to leave maybe our audience with a final message. It can be around the work you do or anything else that you'd like to share. And where is it that we just started this conversation? Where is it that the audience can continue to connect with you?
I would say just be patient with SEO. Don't get discouraged if you're not seeing immediate results, because it does take time to build trust up with Google, but just keep working at it and you will see that traffic increase. And if anyone wants to learn more, I actually create a special gift for everybody. If you go to my website at seooptimizers.com, that's seooptimizers.com/gift. And you can find that gift there along with my contact information and a bunch of classes that I've done over the years. I've thrown up for free, and you can see step by step how to do a lot of stuff that we talked about. And also, if they want a free website analysis, they can book some time on my calendar there for free as well to check out their website from an SEO point of view.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing. Definitely very generous offers of the website audit and also the resources that you have, because just judging from what you just shared with us today, I'm sure you make this very simple to explain and to be able to give people the results they were able to provide. So thank you so much for all the amazing work you're doing. Thank you so much for being here and sharing what you just did. And I want to thank you for always following, sharing, subscribing, and reviewing our show. I definitely appreciate it. And I want to see you next time with another amazing guest and conversation. Bye, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Hello, dear podcast listeners. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And while we're here, I would love to introduce you to a couple of books that I've written and authored, best-selling books, in case that you're looking to add more legacy products into your life to help you scale your purpose and profits. The first book that I've written is called Connecting the Dots Backwards. And in this book, you'll have the clarity to clarify your vision and purpose so that you can do more good in the world. The second piece that is associated, that goes alongside the book, is the Connecting the Vision Backwards journal as well. So this is meant to implement a lot of the learnings from the book so that you can also self-reflect on some of that inner work that is necessary so that you clarify your purpose. The next book that I've written is called Purpose Driven Entrepreneurship. And this holds my framework, my methodology in scaling a company that aligns purpose with profit at the next level. So you'll find a connection of dots between your branding, your marketing, your sales, your systems, and your team so that you can grow a sustainable company that's simplified beyond its owner. The last book that I've written is called Visionary Purpose Driven Leadership. And this book is meant to help you scale up your leadership with your team so that you can build a healthy culture, create a conscious culture, but also most importantly, build a legacy out of your company. And then the last piece of legacy product that I have created, of course, has stemmed from all my work with clients. And the most important skill that we need as leaders, which is time management, efficiency, and productivity. Focus on Purpose Planner is meant to help you plan your quarters and your year on purpose and on intention so that you're focused and working on the right priorities while freeing up your time and also aligning your purpose and your profit as well. Any of my products can be found right over here, left-hand side, on my website, alonalepartycoaching.com/books. And, or you can scan the QSR code right here on the screen to get straight to the links and the books. Happy reading, and thank you again for watching the Life School Masterclass show.